Scream and get some.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand spanking new with the wrap around it, not even like cut open yet. DDLive. What's everybody drinking? Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. That's when you shout it out. Shotgun Messiah, baby. How is everybody doing in his house today? It's so nice to hang with you guys for another unplanned DDLive. But you know what? This will probably be the last chance I get before Christmas. Commisserous. Let me say my hellos. Ryan Woods, what's up, man? Yeah, I love the fuck off Drumdums meme. It's legendary at this point. Polly, how are you doing? Rosemary, nice to see you. Brock Savage. David, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Matt. Jason, Born Slippy. Polly Carter. I just said Polly. My bad. Gory Tiger. What's up? Rosalia. Mikey Weiss with his badass self. How you doing, brother? Yeah. Rick Michaels. Jay Dizla. Vinny. What's up, Vinny? How you guys doing? Nice to see you guys in here tonight. Also, Sean Sheridan, I believe, is the very first Drumdums member. I just kicked off the memberships, and I started the process like 6 months ago, and then I just kind of like, I get so busy, and I'm the type of guy that does like 10 different things at once. You know, do you guys feel like that with your lives? Does it feel like your lives are just constant going? And do you feel like you have like at least 5 different things on your plate at once? And I don't know if like I'm horrible. Like I'll start something like a process, and then something else will grab my attention, and I'll have to stop and do something else. So, the shirt. The shirt is, guys. Can anybody tell me what that's from? Yeah. Come on, somebody tell me what that's from. Yeah. You guys know what that's from, right? Polly signed up for the free Patreon. That's a cool feature too, because forever Patreon didn't let you do the freebie, and now they let you become a member for free, which is cool, because sometimes I'll post stuff and just let everybody see it. It's nice. Deadhead, what's up, man? Time for a nice cold iced tea from Mickey D's McDonald's with you guys. Real laid back show tonight, guys. All right. What's everybody want for Christmas? What's the big prize that you want for Christmas that you want somebody to buy you, or maybe you're just going to buy yourself a Christmas present. I want to hear. Simon Moon, what's up, brother? Glad you finally managed to catch one of my live streams too. It's awesome. Red Show Broski, what's up, man? Thank you. I appreciate that. That is so nice. That is so nice. You know, when I went to Spooky Empire the last time, I like when I see people that recognize the channel, that is like the best freaking thing ever. When I'm out, you know, I've been in like freaking a Best Buy once and somebody like recognized me. But most time it's at like you know, horror conventions. And the last one I went to, this kid, he kept like looking at me. You can tell when somebody's like got you in their peripheral, and he was just like looking at me, and I was like, oh, he might know me from the channel or something like that. And then he comes up to me and he's like, hey man, just big fan of the channel, just wanted to say hello, don't want to disturb you. And I was like, dude, you are not disturbing me at all. This is quality time for me, being able to just sit and chat with anybody that comes up and says hello. That's like the coolest thing ever. So if you ever see me out, don't hesitate, unless I'm like eating dinner with my family. But even then, I guess, if you ever see me out, especially on like a horror convention, then yeah, say hello. I love that shit. Let's celebrate their 10th super in a live stream. I don't even know what that means. Ryan, thank you so much. Evil does die tonight. Evil dies tonight. Hey guys, you guys got me thinking too. Would you like a Halloween set around Christmas? And I know that would be breaking the rules because it's always got to be on the 31st of October. But would you guys like that? Destiny, how are you doing? Destiny, I stole a meme from you. I apologize. But yeah, I stole a meme. It's going to be in the Funnies tonight. All right. So, yeah. Guys, did Evil Dies Tonight like annoy the shit out of you? It is annoying. I will admit that. Like last time I watched Halloween Kills, and I love Halloween Kills the Dead, they do say Evil Dies Tonight way too much. And it makes me wonder if, like, you know, sometimes when you've been working forever on a freaking movie, or what seems like forever, when you get to that last bit, you almost like can't even watch the rest of the movie. Like, I'll give you there's a famous story, Peter Jackson, when he was doing The Return of the King. And they went to a screening for the first screening for Return of the King. And Peter Jackson had not seen the final cut when they literally showed he was so exhausted and so tired that he didn't even bother. He was just like, you know what? The editors, they got it. I'll let them do their thing. So don't be surprised if a director, you know, might not see that final cut, and maybe something gets lost, you know, in the ether that you might not expect, right? Chris Snyder, what's up? Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. How you doing, Darren? I'm assuming that's Darren. It could be Frank though. I pair them together. I love them. They're so cute and they're so beautiful. I love them to death, right? It gives me ear pain. Evil Dies Tonight. Sean Sheridan. Yes, you guys can see Sean Sheridan. He is the official first Drumdums channel member. I'm excited. Anytime I do something new with the channel, I always get excited. You know, so it's cool. Merry Christmas, Dave. How are you doing, brother? Nice to see you. That's awesome. But yeah, I was talking about the Peter Jackson thing, but I remember when I was working on those documentaries, the Scream documentary and the Halloween documentary, and I was deep in the editing trenches, and I would get up. This was my schedule. I would literally get up every morning around 4:30, grab me something to sip on, and I would just edit for like 3 hours until I had to get ready to go to work because I have a day job. And I was doing that for, you know, the last 2 weeks before it was release day. I would make, because I wanted to make sure. And by the time I got done with it all, I didn't even I think I watched the edit maybe once, like all the way through, you know, because I was just plugging away, going down the thing. And by the time I was done with it, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't even look at it. You know, I got so sick of it. And Jason from Sinister Cinema Reviews, he says, let's do that most anticipated 2024 films live together really soon, like next week or something. Next week sounds perfect, actually. I'm in. Jason and I are going to get together like we did like 3 years ago, Jason? And we're going to literally talk about what's coming in 2024. I think we did it for 2021 because I still have the template in my folder on my computer, Jason. I still have the GIMP template that I did. So, yeah, that's happening. Chappie, what's up, brother? He says, now it's ended. What do you think went wrong with the DCEU with such promise and potential, and what do you want to see from James Gunn DCEU? Lots to unpack there. I'll tell you this right now. Here's what I think went wrong, and you might disagree because everybody has their favorites of the DCEU. I'm a Zack Snyder fan. As far as his movies go in the DCEU, I loved his vision. I liked that his movies, all 3 of his movies, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League, his version, all had a very similar tone. You know, they had a little bit of comedy, but the movie wasn't taken over by comedy, right? I think Zack Snyder should have been the leader of that whole thing. And I think even though those movies didn't make the money at the time that Marvel was making, I think to this day still they made the most, aside from the first Aquaman, which made $1 billion, which was the only one that made $1 billion. But they were tracking pretty well with those 3 movies. So my personal opinion, I think they should have had Zack Snyder leading the charge, because the first Wonder Woman did quite well, and it had a little bit of comedy, but it kind of stayed in that framework. So I think they should have just stayed the course with all of their properties. But I think what happened was Warner Brothers jumped the gun and they got scared because they didn't make $1 billion like Marvel was doing. And so they quickly said, we got to copy Marvel. We got to have more comedy in our movies. And I think it just felt shoehorned in with a lot of their movies. It just didn't feel like Wonder Woman 84 was atrocious, was horrible. And yeah, I think that's your short answer. I think that's what happened. And I think they just lost track. And then once you lose your audience, it's hard to get them back. And I think that's what happened. They lost a lot of their audience. As far as James Gunn, man, I don't know, because I'm kind of frustrated with what's, where the I'll just say DCU is right now, even though it's DCEU. I'm kind of frustrated with where we are right now. I think it's smart that he's starting off with Superman Legacy, at least for selfish reasons. Superman's my guy. My 2 favorite superheroes. Guys, tell me in the chat, what's your favorite superhero? Give me your top 3, okay? My 2 favorite superheroes are the Hulk and Superman. Mostly for nostalgic reasons. When I was a kid, I just loved those 2 characters to death. And it's funny because those are the 2 characters in both companies that they seem to have a tough time translating onto the big screen. They have a tough time with Superman, and they have a tough time with the Hulk. And those 2 properties don't fare as well financially as, like, say, Batman and Spider-Man. And those those have, and I love Batman and Spider-Man, but my guys, Hulk and Superman, maybe it is hard to, because Superman's perfect, right? And he's got the only weakness he has is the kryptonite. So maybe he's just a really hard character to write. But I think he's been written well before. With Richard Donner, what Richard Donner did with Superman back in '78 was, I wouldn't say perfection, but it was great. It was really great. And first movie I ever saw in the theater was Superman 2. And man, I was on cloud 9. I was like, that's my guy, right? I want to be Superman. Matt, thank you. He says, horror movies you look forward to next year. Oh yeah, Matt. Well, I was just talking about how Jason and I are going to get together and we're going to talk about, but right off the bat, let me think. Right off the bat, is Terrifier 3 coming out next year or is it 2025? I can't remember. See, that's the thing about next year. There's nothing that's like jumping out at me. I think Terrifier 3 does come out next year, though. So that's probably going to be number one. Isn't Black Phone 2 coming out? I got to go through and I got to look at my list. But, you know, I wish it was one of those really big franchise years. Like, you know, last year we had Terrifier and we had Halloween. And beginning of this year, we had Scream. And I don't think we're going to get a Scream movie in 2024, honestly. Oh, Strangers, Rosemary. Thank you. Yeah, Rosemary just answered my question. Maxine and Strangers. Those are my two big kahunas, right? I'm sure there's going to be some other nice horror movies. The thing I love about horror is the surprises that we always get throughout the year. Because when we start the year off, it's usually, I'd say maybe 10% of what we know. You know, there's always those couple titles that, yeah, I can't wait for this. But by the end of the year, most of your list is movies that you didn't even know came out. That's what I love about horror. There's a lot of great original properties that still come out. Like, Jason, he can attest to this because he reviewed so many new movies this year. And really, I think there's like hundreds of them that come out. I did watch The Sacrifice Game. That was on Shudder recently. It's a Christmas horror movie, and what frustrated me about that movie was the potential, because it could have been really great. It was kind of like a Manson family type thing, but I think you just had some poor acting. The production wasn't as big as it could have been. I don't know if you needed a big production, but the lead baddie, because you can kind of compare this to The Strangers, you know, because you had, I think it was 4 baddies come in, and they tried to give you some shock value at the beginning of the movie, because the guy at the first moment of the movie, he shoves a knife right into this guy's neck. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, they're gonna be freaking balls to the wall in this movie. But as soon as he opens his mouth and starts talking, then you're like, damn, this is how important great acting is. Because when you're trying to be a convincing psychopath, if you can't act, then your movie's gonna fail miserably. And it was a combination of his acting and also really the script. You know, it's just hard to write really good psychopath dialogue, I guess. I don't know. But maybe you shouldn't even talk, right? I don't know. Oh, yeah, Nosferatu's coming out, too, I think at the end of the year. Kevin Munn liked The Sacrifice Game. I liked parts of it, okay? Yeah, the lead did look like Aladdin. But, yeah, I liked parts. Like I said, there was potential there for greatness. But I think it just didn't pan out. And they did try to throw in a nice little twist in there, which could have worked. But again, I think it came down to the performance, right? The performance of the twist. I don't want to say any more, because just in case you guys want to watch this movie. But yeah, so I got some funnies, and somebody just posted a story about Alien, which I wanted to I haven't even read through it, but. Vinny, no, I have not seen Rebel Moon. I'm a big Zack Snyder fan. I could like it. I don't know. I mean, I remember when Batman v Superman came out and it got like a 24% and everybody was hating it, and I saw it and I loved it. That might happen. I don't know. What'd you think, Vinny? Did you like it? I've heard the dialogue's pretty bad, though. He was Aladdin in the live-action remake. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, what'd you think, Jay? I didn't think his acting was that great, you know. And he's supposed to be the main baddie, but you know what, Jason? Here's what I was thinking. Remember Garrett Dillahunt in the Last House on the Left remake? That's a fucking actor, okay? That is a scary ass dude, and that's the kind of performance you want to give if you want to really just send a chill. I mean, really. even the original Krug from the original Last House on the Left was pretty frightening. You know, I love a good performance like that, you know, that's just chilling and you forget that they're acting. That's really a scary dude, right? The guy that played the lead in the Sacrifice Game, he was a pretty boy, and his delivery was like a table read. That's what it was like. Yeah. Adrian, how you doing? Yeah. Sprung. No, I did not see Sprung. I did, guys. I did see Bottoms. Did you guys see Bottoms yet? I saw it the other night. Somebody, I think on X, because I posted on X, give me your top 3 movies of the year, and a couple of people said Bottoms. I was like, what's this? This movie is fucking hilarious. And it reminded me of, like, you know, those American Pie type comedies and the Apatow years. And I was just thinking before I saw this movie, I was like, damn, what happened to the comedy? You know, the raunchy comedy like Porky's. I miss that stuff. Well, it's still there. It's still alive. You just got to look for it. But Bottoms is exactly that. It's so witty, the dialogue. The characters are hilarious. They have amazing comedic timing. And bottom line, I was laughing my ass off. So, yeah, Rosemary says, I'm so in love with the actress who plays Hazel. Really, the 2 lead actresses are both fantastic. Fantastic. Jason, you've seen Bottoms, haven't you? He says he's waiting for the director's cut for Rebel Moon. Always wait for the Snyder cut. Yeah, Snyder. His director's cuts are always the go-to, right? Like his Batman v Superman Ultimate cut, I think is miles better than the theatrical. Mikey says, I just rewatched Forgetting Sarah Marshall and forgot how great of a yeah, I've watched that one quite a few times too. Really, really funny. Another one is I Love You Man with Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's in a lot of those. I just love that, you know, that line. He's like, man, I got to get some fucking friends. And he's doing the rush, get rushified, slapping the biz. Porky's. I remember. I think I was probably like 7 when Porky's came out, and I remember like creeping down the hallway and just peeking out. My parents were watching it, and it was like the forbidden fruit, you know. And I wanted to watch it so freaking bad. I love Porky's. It's still great to this day too. Fluff, what's up, brother? How you doing? Blu-ray Addict says a few raunchy comedies came out this year, which is good. Bottoms, No Hard Feelings, and Joyride. I've seen Bottoms. I've seen No Hard Feelings. I loved both to death. Joyride, I saw the trailer after I watched Bottoms, and I said, I gotta watch that. So I'm sure I'll like Joyride too. It looks really hilarious. But I like those raunchy comedies that just, they go for it, you know? You gotta have a little bit of shock value in there. And some of the lines are just so good. So freaking funny. So there's a recommendation for you guys. Bottoms. Quick plot synopsis. If you haven't seen Bottoms, you know, all the raunchy comedies are about characters trying to get laid, right? That's what it is. It's these two girls. They're lesbians and they're trying to get laid. That's it. They're in high school, but they're kind of in the geek club, and so they start up a fight club. You heard that right. They start up a fight club. Really, they get a bunch of girls in a gymnasium and they start beating the shit out of each other because that's how they draw them in. And you know, because when you fight, they become close. And they're, you know, it's got those really great montages. You like a good musical montage. It's got some great music in there. And I even went and like I listened to the soundtrack on Spotify. That's the one thing I love about Spotify. Are you guys like, do you pay for Spotify? If you don't, I recommend doing it. And I got the family plan. It's like $15 a month and you can get 6 people signed under you. You know, because I got my wife, both my kids under there, and my son-in-law, you know. And man, I tell you, it's great. It's like having the entire musical library of the world right at your fingertips. You know, create your own playlist, all that stuff. Yeah, it's awesome. But I saw like Anne and the Apocalypse recently, reviewed it for Dave Vanderhoff, And immediately I wanted to go find the soundtrack, and sure enough, it was right there on Spotify. Great stuff. Great stuff. Breakaway. Yeah. That's a fun soundtrack, too. When I listen to that soundtrack, though, I just kind of want to go outside and go for a walk down the street, and I'm hoping that zombies are behind me. So, yeah. Scottish Geek Guy says, have Spotify, but also have a huge vinyl soundtrack collection. There's a lot of movie scores and soundtracks that aren't on Spotify. Yes, you're right. I wouldn't say huge, but I probably got, if I'm guessing, I might have 100 vinyl now. I started collecting a while back. Chappie, he says, I rewatched Carrie remake, very underrated remake. I don't know if I'd say underrated, although I do enjoy it. But, you know, and I used to love that remake to death. But it's one of those movies where when I went back and watched it, it wasn't as good, but it's still fun. But I think one thing that hurt it was I recently rewatched the original because I was in a mad De Palma mood. The original is just a classic, such a masterpiece. And I think it's highly rewatchable. Like somebody on Killer Flick said the other day that the original, I'm going down a rabbit hole here. Bear with me. Hey, Ashley, how are you doing? I like talking topics, okay? You know what? Maybe I'll clip this little topic out, okay? And this isn't a trick question, okay? 2 questions. First, is the original Halloween dated? That's the first question. Number 2, do you mind that it's dated? Like, does it hurt the movie that it's dated? Is dated in general a bad thing? Because I started thinking about this. Sometimes I'll start thinking about, sometimes I try to think, but nothing happens. But sometimes I start formulating all these like debates with myself in my head. So, Jason says he will sell me his vinyl soundtrack. Well, the thing about that is, Jason, I am super, super picky with any vinyl that I buy. And I usually will buy like 1 out of every 100 things that I look at in a record store. Not even 100, Like I do have some coming for Christmas, but I think the last one I got was the Sleep Token, their latest album. I got it on vinyl. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. OG Halloween, slightly dated, some neat. What's up, some neat? How are you doing? Tony says no. Carrie remake soundtrack is great. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Scary movie I've ever seen, in my opinion, is Hereditary. With time, it'd be considered tame or not scary to some. Hereditary is definitely scary, like freaky. Tyshawn, what's up, brother? How you doing? Okay, so Halloween, is it dated? I don't know if there's a right answer to that. And my response is there are things that are dated in it, like the clothing, of course, because it's set in 1978. But hell, even today they have movies that are set in the 70s. Hell, even the Sacrifice game that I just watched is set in 1971, I think. And technically, yes, that's dated, but I find that hella charming. Don't you love when you're watching a horror movie from today and you see a 1978 Chevrolet driving in the background? Doesn't that kind of just add something to it? Or would you rather watch a modern day car in the background? Not that it matters, but so somebody said that they didn't like Halloween because it was dated. Cactus Jack, what's up, man? And my response is, yeah, I guess it's dated, but Michael Myers and Loomis, I think those goats are freaking, they transcend. They're not dated. They live on forever. I mean, proof's in the pudding. The only reason that Loomis hasn't, resurfaced is because Donald Pleasance is no longer with us, and he's probably one of the hardest characters on Earth to recast. So, yeah. And also my rebuttal to that is most movies that I like, I guess, would be considered dated because they came out in like the early 80s. And that's my favorite era of cinema. Like, I love early 80s. There's just, not just horror. There's just something about the way those movies look. There's something about the style of acting in those movies and the characters. And even plot-wise, I think those movies are a little different. But just because maybe the way life was back then was different. I don't know. So, if Halloween's dated, then that's fine. Dated is not a bad thing for me. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I guess the only way it could be a bad thing is if there's a style of acting that's just not for you. Like, say, movies from like the 60s. They're going to have a certain style of acting. And it's not really for everyone, right? So, but it's, you know what? I love the feel and the look of the original Halloween. Then take how Alien was shot, or a Clockwork Orange. Now, I guess on the flip side of that, because it's sci-fi, I think Alien, the first Alien, is timeless. It's not dated at all, right? I mean, you might, if you got really, really nitpicky, you could say maybe the hairstyles a little bit, but hairstyles come and go, you know? It seems like the hairstyle of like the 70s, it always kind of creeps back up anyway. So, yeah, I love. Oh my God, I freaking love Alien. We're gonna cover an Alien story tonight that I don't even know what's gonna come out of it. I don't even know what's gonna come out of it. It could be insane. All right, and it's not about Alien Romulus. I don't think it is. Yeah, somebody asked earlier, what's my most anticipated? If Romulus sees the light of day this year, then that's probably, because I'm such an Alien fan, that's probably my most anticipated. Okay. Yeah. Sean Sheridan, channel member, he says, Halloween ages like a fine wine, and I don't like Annie. That's my only negative with Halloween. You know, and guys, let me know in the chat, do you like Annie? And I can say like Tina from Halloween 5. I hated her at one point, and then she kind of grew on me, and I don't know if I have to blame the internet for that. But I don't think I ever disliked Annie, but I for a time I thought she was just kind of there, and I didn't appreciate her. Now I really appreciate Annie, because it's 3 different character archetypes, right? Annie and Linda and Lori are all 3 different types of characters. They're not really alike, you know? Lori is the bookworm, I guess. She's for lack of a better term, I guess the virgin of the story, even though we don't know if she's actually, but and then you got Annie, who seems like she's down for a good time, but she seems like she's got a brain in her head, like she's, you know, I guess a normal woman. And that sounds horrible the way I'm saying it, but that's, you know what I mean. And then Linda is the other end of the spectrum, right? Linda, she wants to have a good time, but she always wants to have a good time, you know, and she's totally and all that. You know, I think Deborah Hill nailed that aspect of Halloween, you know, those 3 girls. Because a lot of times in horror movies today, the characters, a lot of them it's hard to differentiate outside of their hair color, right? They really paid attention to that stuff back then. So, yeah. Do we want to do some funnies? Let me go over to the funnies. And I'm not turning the music on, because last time I turned the music on, I always forget because I got Alzheimer's, and I forget to turn it off. And then it plays throughout the rest of the thing. And if I got topics to clip out, then they got me. I actually tried AI for the first time last week, because, or a couple weeks ago, when I did the last live. Because I had the music playing in the background, and there was a clip that I wanted to put out there. And I found this AI program. And it literally separates the voice from whatever's below it. And that's what it did for me. But it wasn't perfect. Like, you could definitely tell that there was something off. But at least you didn't really hear the music as much. You know, it would just kind of, the music would kind of pop up for half a second every now and then. It was weird. But I didn't even mention it, because if I mention it to you, then you know it's there, and then you're listening for it. So I didn't even, you don't even know which video it's from. All right. And that's mean to me, but I'm not telling you. Okay. But it's there. There's a video of mine recent where it's AI. My voice is AI'd. Okay. And I'll give you a hint. It's on Drumdums Extra. All right. So there you go. All right. Let me go to funnies. I got some funnies today. Or at least I think they're kind of funny. Okay. This one is, and these aren't all horror related. I think most of them aren't even horror related, but I just thought they were funny, so I figured I'd share them with you. Okay. So don't you love like text message funnies? Text message funnies, more times than not, they always send it home for me. You're right. I always get a good chuckle out of them. So, hey, I'm not coming into work today. The boss says, why? And he says, because I fucking hate this job. And then the boss says, understandable, enjoy the rest of your day. Can you imagine if you had a boss that actually like was, I guess he got it? Like, yeah, okay. And maybe the guy, like, maybe he hadn't taken a day off in ages and he's just like stressed out. And so the boss is just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, take your day off. Yeah, most people would probably get fired. But I thought that was funny. Cold Truth. He says, back to what you were saying about Loomis. Is there anyone that comes to mind you think could fit the script and do justice to Donald Pleasance? Well, the Halloween Returns script by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan. In that script, at the very end, Loomis surfaces, and it literally says in the script, Gary Oldman. It says Gary Oldman with the eyes of a chopping block. To give you, like, to make it descriptive. And right away I was like, oh, that could work, because Gary Oldman is such an amazing actor. So outside of Gary Oldman, I remember Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards, the guy that was in Last Voyage of Demeter, and he was in Game of Thrones. That guy could probably be a good Loomis. He even has the look. You guys know what I'm talking about? But Gary Oldman's like the right age for it now too, you know? And I think he would really put some depth into that character, because Malcolm McDowell just wasn't Loomis. And I don't know if that's just how Rob Zombie told him to play it. I can't imagine Rob Zombie telling a veteran actor like Malcolm McDowell, this is exactly how I want you to play it. I think what he did was he said, don't watch the original Halloween, because Malcolm McDowell had never watched the original. And he said, just play it like you want it. But I think Malcolm really, he didn't hit it right. And sometimes I think the characters around you can affect you as a character. And I think maybe that's what it was, because a lot of the characters in the first Rob Zombie's Halloween, it was a little bit on the trashy side. And maybe Loomis just doesn't fit well in that world. I don't know. Because Malcolm McDowell is a great actor. But, sometimes you take a swing and you miss. And I think that's what happened. I don't think he landed right. Because some of the lines were pretty much verbatim what Donald Pleasance would state. And we're so used to Donald Pleasance's version of it that it just sounds like discount Walmart, right? It doesn't sound like, Coke. It sounds like RC Cola. I'm pulling out Breaking Bad references. You want good old Coca-Cola? That scene in freaking Breaking Bad where the guy wants to buy the chemical that he uses to make the meth. The guy's wanting to buy it. And Bryan Cranston, Walter White, he gives him this speech. And then at the end, it's the famous line at the very end of the scene when he goes, say my name. And he's like, what? He's like, say my name. And then he says, Heisenberg. And he says, you're goddamn right. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But oh my God, that's my all-time favorite show. Breaking Bad. I've watched it so many times. I'm a sucker for great dialogue. Okay. Cactus Jack says, I was pretty happy when Michael killed Loomis at the end of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I was too. If I'm being honest, just because, and I didn't even, I think I liked Loomis maybe a little better in the first one than the second one, because in the second one, he was just full blown, complete asshole. So, but I get what they were trying to do, because I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But that doesn't feel like your normal Halloween movie. So, Yeah, I am not the danger. I am the danger. I am the one who knocks. Man, so many great lines. See, that's what I was talking about that the sacrifice game. You'll see what I'm talking about. If you watch it, you'll be like, damn, a lot of potential there. As soon as they open their mouth, you're like, oh, shit. Who wrote this? You know, I don't like bad writing. I don't like bad writing. And I know some of you are going to say, but you like David Gordon Green's Halloween movies. You know what? I think the writing's decent. But, you know, when you throw in, like, Evil Dies Tonight, that does get a little bit, like, too much. Like, what the fuck? But, yeah. At least it felt like... It didn't feel like Rob Zombie's writing, you know? With the white trash talk and all that shit. And Myers has hair down to his freaking ass. Yeah. Okay, next... We didn't even get to the second funny yet, guys. Okay? Second funny... My good buddy Dan Wolf over at Killer Flicks, he posted this today. This is fresh today. And he says, he posts funny shit sometimes. This is like shit that comes out of his mouth that he thinks. And he says, after 30 years of everyone acting like Exorcist III is the greatest film of all time, and then hearing how awful the new Exorcist is, y'all are dumbasses. Now, I'm not saying I agree with him, but I got some comedy out of that because of Exorcist 3, right? And I don't know what happened. How did this happen? And guys, I love Exorcist 3. I think it's great. It is one of the better sequels out there. But I think something happened with the internet over the last maybe like 5 years, maybe decade, where everybody just started propping up Exorcist 3 like it was the greatest thing ever created, right? And I don't know, maybe it, I don't know, but then people started saying that Exorcist 3 was better than the first Exorcist, and that's when I lost. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me! Better than the first Exorcist? And by the way, I recently watched both those movies again. You know, like before I saw Exorcist Believer, I was like, I want to go through and watch the two good Exorcist movies. And after I got done with both of them, I was like, I loved Exorcist 3, but no way in hell is it better than the first. You know, the first is freaking masterpiece. But that's what happens. When the hype train kicks in, you know, pick your example. We start, you know, I think another example was Amityville 2, The Possession. For some reason, everybody started, including myself, everybody started lifting up Amityville 2, The Possession. And realizing how great that movie is. And they're right. It is. It's freaking awesome. But I guess that's the cool thing about the internet. The internet is like the forest, right? And if nobody hears the tree fall in the forest, then does it fall? You know? And so if nobody hears the guy talking about how The Exorcist 3 is amazing and underrated, then is The Exorcist 3 really amazing and underrated? Or is it amazing because everybody heard him say it? I don't know. It is because it's a great movie. But that's what the internet can do sometimes. It can like make a wave happen, right? And I think we're officially at the age now where Exorcist 3, as of this point right here, right now, oh my God, my freaking thing dropped. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. As of right now, I'm calling it. It's official. Exorcist 3 is no longer underrated. All right. Right now, it's rated because everybody fucking loves Exorcist 3. That means it's not underrated. All right. Why am I yelling? It's true. It's true. Nicholas Vincent, what's up, man? So if anybody says, what's the most underrated horror movie out there? You're going to want to say it, but don't. But don't say it because everybody says it. Actually, if everybody says a movie is underrated, it's not underrated. All right? So there you go. The true underrated movies are when one person says it and everybody else goes, oh, shit. You might have a point. You know, but if you say Exorcist 3, everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, it's sure. They're going to give me my Kool-Aid. I'm going to drink it up like fucking crazy right now. Okay? Some Need has never watched Exorcist 3. Well, it's very underrated, so I definitely think you should check it out. Jesus. Oh, by the way, Exorcist Believer sucks balls. Okay? There you go. All right. Next one. This one's called He Got What? He Got What? All right. I named it that. All right. So it's kind of like the old Johnny Carson thing. He would state the title and then he would show you. Is that a Playboy in a tube sock? He got horny. That would change the whole dynamic of the movie. This could be like another game that you could play. Give me a single line that can completely change the trajectory of the movie. Okay, it could ruin the entire movie. Everything else around that line could stay the same, but if you had this particular scene in there where he says, "Is that a Playboy in a tube sock?" and Loomis goes, "He got horny." From that point on, you'd be all jacked up. It would screw with your brain, right? So, and that's why Halloween, there's so much potential there because I think there's so much open space in Halloween. They only give just enough, right? It's the ultimate simple movie. And did you guys know that Halloween is probably the most underrated horror movie of all time? It's true. It's true. Okay. And so is The Exorcist III. All right. Next one. Guys, have you seen Jennifer Aniston lately? I don't know. I mean, this is like recent. This is very recent, but I don't know if something happened, if she had like an accident, but yeah, I got to show you this. Man, Jennifer Aniston. I hope she can get back on the horse. So yeah, Jennifer Aniston. It's been rough. It's been rough on all of us. That's a quote. I think Jennifer Aniston is the most underrated member of Friends, of the group Friends, of the show. Yeah, she's the most underrated. And Exorcist 3 is easily the most underrated movie of all time. Okay. He does kind of look like her, if I'm being honest, I think everybody, how do I say this? Everybody has an ugly version of themselves. Like, everybody has an ugly doppelganger, okay? Or you could be I'm the ugly doppelganger. So that's Jennifer Aniston's ugly doppelganger, okay? All right. Next one. This Alex B, he posted that on my timeline. I don't know if Alex actually made those, but I got a kick out of it. That's Neutron Man, Laser Man, and Tarantula Man. And I'm shocked that there's not an MCU origin story on all three of those at this point, if I'm being honest. But, origin stories, they're all pretty much the same anyway. Like, what would be the origin story for Neutron Man? Like, maybe he goes to space and he gets bit by a radioactive neutron. These jokes are free, people, okay? You don't have to pay for them. All right. Laser Man, Tarantula Man. Like, I got questions, though. Like, seriously, where did that come from, right? Was there a comic? And maybe some of you guys are comic nerds in there, but is there a real, like, Neutron Man, Laser Man, and Tarantula Man? Or is that just something that John Carpenter made up for the story? I don't know. I like that Laser Man's, he's got like a skullet. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but yeah, you guys know what a skullet is, right? That's where you're bald on top, but you have like long hair in the back. There's a band with a lead singer that's got a skullet. Can any of you tell me what band that is? I know it, but I can't remember their name. Cactus Jack says he doubts they were real. I don't think they were real comic books either. So, yeah. Halloween Multiverse. I started this, okay? I'm taking credit. I'm sure I wasn't the first, but if you look back, I think it was a couple of DDLives ago, so maybe a month, 2 months ago or something like that. I said, hey, wouldn't it be a cool idea if they did a Halloween multiverse, you know? Sometimes you can have the same idea that somebody else has. I truly believe that. Accidents happen. But I thought, surely nobody's thinking this, but wouldn't it be cool if there was a TV series based on a Halloween multiverse where every episode would be a sequel to one of the entries in the franchise. You know, you could have a sequel to Halloween 4. And then sure enough, the very next DDLive I had, Danielle Harris on her podcast literally stated Halloween multiverse. And she didn't come right out and say it, but it sounded like that term, that phrase was floating around in the Halloween sandbox. What's going, you know? So, and now I'm starting to hear that word crop up all the time, Halloween multiverse, because it could work and it wouldn't cost that much to actually do, you know? Like what celebrity, what actor or actress outside of Jamie Lee Curtis do you have to really pay an ungodly amount to star in like you could have a sequel to, you know, Halloween 4 because Danielle Harris, I mean, I'm just being honest here. I don't think she's going to ask that much, you know? If you could get Ellie Cornell in there, I don't think she would ask that much. Really, any celebrity, you know, Paul Rudd, of course, is another example where you couldn't afford him probably. But although I heard he was actually in talks to be in Halloween Kills, but he said he couldn't do it because he was obligated to another role. He was probably obligated to Ant-Man. So yeah. Norris, thank you. He says, Haley, I know the Crow franchise is special to you, so I was wondering your thoughts and expectations for Bill Skarsgård playing Eric Draven. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Norris. I'm just going to say this, and I'm not going to tell you anything, but I'll say I've heard some stuff. But let's take that and put it right here, okay? And then I'll just kind of tell you what I would like, okay? Because I know some things that I can't tell anybody, all right? I'm not special. I've heard some stuff, all right? So, but sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time, maybe. One of those type things, you know? And I happen to be part of a Crow fan film. So, yeah. Now, as far as if they're doing a reboot, that means they're, you know, I think we all know that Bill Skarsgård is playing Eric Draven. I think there's things that they want and there's things that they don't want to copy from the first movie. You know, I think you want to try to have some sort of atmosphere, you know, because the first movie, I think one of the biggest selling points of that movie is the cinematography and the set design and how it feels otherworldly. Even though it's set in Detroit, it feels like another planet almost. You know what I mean? It almost like Dark City, you know, because Proyas, he did Dark City after this movie. And I just love that about The Crow, how it's almost like a black and white type feel, because they wanted to make a color movie, but they wanted to pretty much mute all the colors, you know, in camera, not like through effect, right? So don't present anything in front of the camera that's not really kind of, you know, that's not muted, right? Except for like maybe the flashback scenes. So I think the new movie needs to have a vision. It doesn't have to have the exact vision of the original, but I definitely think when you watch that movie, it should feel like a Crow movie. You know, it should have an aesthetic that's unlike any other movie. Because still to this day, The Crow feels very unique. You know, and it's we were just talking about movies that are dated. The Crow is timeless. You know, if The Crow could come out today, new movie, and nobody would bat an eye, you know, they'd be like, yeah, that feels like that just came out today. So that's the great thing about it. Expectations for Bill Skarsgård. But Bill Skarsgård, I think he's going to do a good job. He's a really good actor. You could call him a chameleon. I mean, I think he proved himself with Pennywise, because, I mean, he came up with a really unique character for Pennywise, and he didn't copy Tim Curry. So I feel like At least performance-wise, we're in good hands. As far as his, the Crow is a visual character, and I think you definitely need a certain type of face bone structure for that character. I think he could have that. So, he's got that physique too, the thin, lanky physique for the Crow. So I'm definitely curious. I'm looking forward to it. I'll just say that, okay? I can't say anything else. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Rob, what's up, man? How you doing? Okay. Let me go to the next one. This one's late at work. Now, this one's, it's not really funny, but just something to think about. 20 years from now, the only ones who will remember that you stayed late at work will be your children. Because I know some of us, we put work ahead of everything else because we're going for it. We're going for the prize, have the big house on the hill and all that stuff. But sometimes we work ourselves to death, and then I don't know why did I even put this in here? Erica, how are you doing? Be there for your kids, damn it. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. All right. Okay, this one was kind of funny. Did you guys see Oppenheimer? Have you guys seen Oppenheimer yet? That's probably my besides Godzilla -1, that's probably my favorite movie of the year, Oppenheimer. It's so good. So good. So yeah, this is me myself. Breaking, when asked if Oppenheimer 2 was on the cards, Christopher Nolan remarked, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because everything's a sequel these days, But Christopher Nolan, he's not hearing that shit. And there's a part 2 to this too, okay? There's a part 2 to this. Somebody drafted this up. This is called the OCU. You know how you have the MCU? Well, what if they had the Oppenheimer cinematic universe? And so you have I guess they're all by Marvel Studios, but Oppenheimer, Teller, Feynman, E = MC squared, Werner and Irwin. See, I don't even know most of these names, so the joke kind of falls flat. But there's phases. There's this is phase 1. Pretty soon we're gonna have a cinematic universe for true stories. I guarantee you that's gonna happen. Mark my words. All right. Maybe it's already happened. Maybe I'm looking over it. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if it's already happened. Okay. This one, I actually had to edit this one because of what was originally on there. You'll see what I mean when I post it. Okay. Fun fact, most restaurant TV menus are Bluetooth, and their passcode is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 8 zeros. And you can imagine, you can see I put the Halloween one up there, but you can imagine what was actually on there. Oh my God. Somebody put some porn up there on a McDonald's thing. They hacked in. All right. Yeah. Prime. Okay. Can you imagine that if you're at McDonald's and then that pops up? Okay. Next one. This one's called Sauron Weirdly Sexy. Okay. I come up with these names, people. All right. Sauron Weirdly Sexy. Okay. I didn't come up with the meme though. All right. I just came up with the name for it. All right. You have seen Sauron. Yes. He's really sexy, right? Oh my God. Thank you. Yes. I thought I was the only one. I don't know why that's funny. I just got a kick out of that. Jesus. Usually if there's a Lord of the Rings meme, it's going to be funny. Okay. It's going to be funny. There's just, it just has to be. I freaking love Lord of the Rings to death. Okay. Do you guys like Lord of the Rings? It's like you either love it or you hate it. I never met anybody that's like, yeah, it's okay. And maybe one of you are like that, but I've never met anybody that just thinks Lord of the Rings it's just meh. You either love it or you hate it. Or not, maybe you don't hate it, but you just can't watch it because you think it's boring. Okay. Yeah. To me, I love the journey. I do only extended, and we usually do like an hour at a time. There you go. Brock Savage thinks it's meh. Okay, so I'm wrong. Brock, be honest. Do you think it's boring as hell? Be honest. Tell me right now, okay? Or, because if you think it's meh, that means you've watched it and you don't hate it, all right? But there's difference between meh and I find it boring as fuck, okay? All right. Happy holidays, Terrified State. Okay, next one. I've been watching The Incredible Hulk. I have it on my external hard drive, all the episodes. And I realize there's a lot of episodes I haven't really seen. I guess, if you are of my age group and you used to watch Incredible Hulk when you were young, I think there's some red letter episodes that really stick out, But I'm watching Incredible Hulk, one of the episodes, and sure enough, who is that right there on the right? Can anybody tell me who that is on the right of those three people? Who is that? Take a look at his face, all right? I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to let you guys tell me. Okay? And while you're thinking about it, some observations about the Incredible Hulk TV show. Erica can't see it. Damn it. Maybe I'll make it bigger. Hold on. Yeah. There you go. All right. Can you see it now? Let me know, guys. Let me know. It's not Fred Armisen. That is like 1979. All right. 1980, something like that. All right. One observation I have about the show that I love so much. Can a guy go to any town without not having the living shit beat out of him? I swear, every town that David Banner goes to, he ends up getting the living shit beat out of him. And usually it's like horribly by a whole bunch of guys. They're throwing him around like a rag doll. They usually throw him in like a well, something like that, or they'll throw him behind a fence, or they're like the last episode I was watching, he was in a bar, and everybody's just beating the living shit out of this guy. Because I guess you wouldn't have an episode, right? He's got to turn into the Hulk. Okay, nobody knows. All right. That is Don Shanks from Halloween 5 on the right. Don Shanks, he's been in the business for ages, and he's probably in his 20s there, maybe. Something like that. But, yeah, that's probably him, and that's like 1979, 1980, Don Shanks, right? And I think, because he has a couple lines in the show, but it didn't sound like Shanks at all. So I'm thinking they overdubbed his voice with another actor, which was very common back then. They would do that. But yeah, I got a kick out of that. Beth, what's up? How's Beth doing? Beth, you just missed it. I was showing off Don Shanks from The Incredible Hulk. Okay? Another observation about The Incredible Hulk. Some of the animals that the Hulk would fight were the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. One of them was called the Antawak horror. I think it's in season 2, and it's basically this guy. He sees Banner turn into the Hulk, and so then the town needs money. It's run down, and so what does he do? He gets this makeup and he makes himself look like a monster, but it's the most obvious, horrible hack job you've ever seen in your life. Like nobody would get that. And so it's just this dude running around pretty much like Halloween, like he's on Halloween in a costume, running around it's like scaring people. And they all run. Even grown men, they run like they're scared to death of him. He's not even he's probably like 5'10". And but he looks hilarious. If you ever get a chance, look up Antawak. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Mikey Weiss, he says, I recorded a podcast episode with Natalie Paulson last night. She's taking on the role of the wife in Days of Sodom. Yes, couldn't resist dropping a Drumdums name drop and filling her in on these streams. Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we got I can't divulge, but one right there. But yeah, we got a good cast in this movie for sure. But yeah, I'm being very careful about what I say. But yeah, Mikey is right. Mikey is right. And thank you, Mikey. Okay. Beth says she just got back from looking at Christmas lights. Few and far between. You know, Beth, in our neighborhood here, luckily I live in a neighborhood with a lot of Christmas lights, but I get what you mean by few and far between, because there's only one or two houses, which I would call the Griswold house, that's like freaking decked out, and everybody drives by that house, you know? Too bad it's not like close to me either. It's on the other end of the subdivision. But it's nice to only have to drive in the subdivision. But Orlando and the Winter Springs where I live in, there's so many subdivisions that have like freaking really nice houses and tons of Christmas lights. So if you want, you can still drive around and you could probably look all night and find a bunch of nice houses. But that's part of the fun. Beth, what did you listen to? Did you put on some Christmas music while you were driving around? Because you gotta, right? You gotta. Oh yeah, but by the way, Incredible Hulk, there's another episode where he fights a gorilla, but it's a guy in an ape suit. And it's like the most obvious guy in an ape suit that you'll ever see. And it's hilarious. Destiny Faulkner posted this one. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. And I noticed when she posted that, she had like a bunch of likes. And I think only one or two actually gave the laugh emoji. And I'm like, do they not get that? That's freaking hilarious, right? It's the thing. Can you imagine? Like, that's probably the most un-Christmas-like movie with snow imaginable. Although I do like watching The Thing around, like the holidays, just because of the snow. But it doesn't feel like a Christmas movie at all, But if it did have Christmas lights in the background, then I guess it would. Which Alien movie is a Christmas movie? Can you guys tell me that? I asked this question last time. I'm trying to see if you guys were paying attention. Gory Tiger says, didn't he fight Bigfoot once? Maybe he did. I'm on season 3 right now. There's like 4.5 seasons. So Jason got it. Prometheus. Prometheus is a Christmas movie. There is one Christmas tree in the movie. Guys, let me ask you a question, all right? Because somebody posted the other day that The Terminator was a Christmas movie. And I can't for the life of me remember if there's a Christmas tree in The Terminator. Is there? In the first Terminator? Because maybe I'm... Levi, you okay? Levi, like, it's not really a snore, but it's more like a whiz, like... He makes these little, like... I don't know what you'd call it. It's not really a snore. It's got this kind of a snore. But it's loud enough that you can hear it. Okay. What was the other question I asked? Yeah, Terminator. Is the first Terminator a Christmas movie? Because Rambo is definitely a Christmas movie. And maybe that's what I'm getting it confused with. Yeah, Polly says, not that I recall. Yeah, I think you might be right, Polly. I think I heard Arnold said Merry Christmas. I don't know. All right. Tiff, how are you doing? Okay, next one. This one's called Titanic Lobsters. Okay? Titanic Lobsters. You're like, what is Lee talking about? I know about the Titanic, but what does he mean by lobsters? Okay? All right. So, yeah, Titanic sinking, lobsters in the kitchen. It's fucking party. Hell yeah. Are they going to die anyway, though, because they're going into, like, freezing water? I don't know. Can lobsters live in freezing water? Is there... Because they're... Let's see. We're warm-blooded. Are they cold-blooded? I don't know. I can't remember. Beth's a big Titanic fan. She probably got a kick out of that one. All right. And I'll pose another question to you guys, okay? What is the greatest tried and true slasher movie, and why is it Friday the 13th, the final chapter? Serious question, though. I was thinking about this, because the term, tried and true slasher. You know, there's slashers, but then tried and true means they just check every single box. You know, you got great kills. You got a killer that's completely on point. You got nudity. You got a cool location. You got a little, what would you call it? Like, you got a little bit of crazy in the plot, you know, a little bit. Because for me, a good slasher is one that kind of turns on its head at a certain point, and Part 4 does that. And I think Part 4, it might be the only slasher movie, even over Halloween, that literally checks every freaking box. And it's damn perfection. It's perfection in terms of being a tried and true slasher. It's got amazing characters too, by the way. That's another box that you got to have checked. I would even say this. And, you know, Halloween's my all-time favorite movie. But character-wise, if I'm in a slasher mood, Friday Part 4 has the best characters. You got freaking Ted and Jimmy alone. I mean, God, that you don't even need anything else, right? But you also have Paul, right? That seems like every slasher in the 80s has a character named Paul. And I think there's a few of them that have like a Lori, I don't know, and a Tina. You just got to have like the most basic names, I guess. I don't know. Guys, is there another movie that's a tried and true slasher? There's got to be, right? That has every box checked like Friday Part 4 does. I'm going to read Colin Rumig's question real quick while you guys think about that, okay? Really think about that. Give me a slasher that's tried and true. All right. Haley, what do you think of people that say a movie is bad but entertaining and fun? I've never understood the sentiment. It's contradicting and disingenuous, in my opinion. I see what you're saying there. Hold on. Because I think a movie can be bad, but it still can be entertaining. Like the Aquaman, the recent Aquaman, it's getting horrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but on the flip side, I've heard people say that it's fun. Like they ended up having fun with the movie. I guess you might call that your guilty pleasure. Some people believe in guilty pleasures. Some people don't. If you believe in guilty pleasure, call it whatever you want. But I think that's what they are. You know, they're bad movies that happen to be really entertaining and fun. And I don't think it's like a rude thing or even disingenuous or contradicting. I just think that's just the nature of the beast. I think sometimes we want a cheeseburger and sometimes we want a nice steak, you know, or filet mignon or whatever. You know, it's just depends on what you're in the mood for. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I think you need both those things. You know, you don't want to have just movies that are one type and then, you know, and not have the other, right? The Room. Oh, thank you. Friday Part 2. Friday does have a lot. But I think maybe there's another name for it then, because Part 4 has a something extra, just a little something extra, right? That Part 2 and any other Friday movie doesn't have. I would say, I tell you what, I have an answer. Another tried and true slasher. And I think it's almost there, but it lacks one thing. But it kind of makes up for it. Halloween 4, which is also Part 4. Guys, let me know. Am I wrong on that? I think Halloween 4 might be tried and true as well. Because it's got amazing atmosphere. It's got an amazing setting. It's got one of the coolest endings of the franchise. It's literally scary, you know? Like, I'm not scared by any of the Halloween movies, really. Except for, like, 4 legitimately. I don't watch it now and get scared, but it legitimately scared the shit out of me when I first saw it. Great characters. Rachel and Jamie are awesome in the movie. It's got a gripping third act. You got a little love triangle thing going there. You know, I think Part 4 checks a lot of boxes. It doesn't have nudity, I don't think, but it does have Kelly Meeker, who I met recently, by the way. She was an absolute sweetheart. Okay. And she said she wants to come on my show. Damn it, guys. What am I waiting for? Damn it. Maybe I'm nervous. It's Kelly Meeker, people. Okay. Jesus. Got to prepare for that shit. Okay. Yeah, it might be Halloween 4. It might be Halloween 4. It does not have Paul Rudd. Coolor. Okay. Erica says, Halloween is an all-time favorite franchise, but when I think slasher, I'll admit the first thing that pops up in my head is Jason's mask. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's... Jason definitely checks that box of like ultimate slasher king, you know? And he does have great kills. But Halloween 4, Michael does have great kills in that movie too. I mean, he picks the guy up and like puts his thumb in his face. You know, he likes to kill people with his thumb in that movie. And then the ambulance, when he like shoves the thumb in the guy's forehead, he's got freakish superhuman strength. You know, yeah. You know what though? It's got the mask isn't the best. Whereas like Friday Part 4 has the perfect Jason. My favorite Jason. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just a fun question. Is that it for the funnies? That's it. Let's go to this alien story real quick. Let me pull it up here. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Oh, let me go. Let me see. Let me find it. Hold on. Where did it go? Damn it. Did I open it? Oh, it's on the other window. Hold on. Yeah, it's right there. So why is it not? So Screen Rant. So let me go back over here. That's not it. Why is it not pulling it up? There it is. Okay. All right. We're going to read through this. I don't know where this is going. It's going to be a nice surprise. Okay. I'll just read it to you. Okay. So I don't have to move stuff around. Disney's new Alien movie does what Ridley Scott's 79 original was intentionally avoiding. So this is about Romulus. I think it is. All right. Disney's new entry in the Alien movie franchise proves that filmmakers still don't understand the magic of Ridley Scott's 1979 original. All right. Let's see. Again, preface this. I have not read this, so I don't know what's going to happen here. All right. Disney's new Alien movie, Alien Romulus, takes a different approach from Ridley Scott's original, focusing on a group of young people in a slasher in space scenario. Is that what they're... Yeah, that's what they're saying for 79. Okay. While this departure from the original may concern fans, incorporating the teen slasher formula can potentially rejuvenate the franchise and appeal to modern viewers. So I think they're saying they don't want it to be kind of a cheap slasher. By leveraging the strengths of the action-forward slasher genre and featuring a relatable young cast, Alien Romulus has the opportunity to capture the magic of the original film and speak to audiences today. Okay, so let me read this. Hold on. And let me make sure you guys are there. Okay, yeah. All right. As more information comes to light about the premise of Disney's new Alien movie, it's clear the upcoming release explores exactly what Ridley Scott's original 79 film actively avoided. Alien Romulus, from Don't Breathe director Fede Alvarez, has reportedly wrapped filming ahead of its 2024 premiere, pushing Disney's 20th Century Fox Studios to share more information about the movie's story. However, the press release gives franchise fans a reason to be concerned. It doesn't seem like the Disney entry is interested in echoing Scott's classic movie. What are they saying? All right, here we go. Hold on. Aside from James Cameron's 1986 sequel Aliens, the franchise has seen more than its fair share of box office bombs and critical disappointments. From action-packed crossovers with the Predator series, they're wasting my time. They're wasting my damn time. Hold on. But if Prey, the latest installment of Alien's sister series Predator, is any indication, taking a well-worn franchise in a completely new direction can be both divisive and incredibly successful. Prey was probably one of the best Predator movies to come along. Okay, new Alien movies. Young people focus is more traditional horror than Alien was. Okay, I see what they're saying here. A press release from Disney's 20th Century Studios sheds more light on the plot of the highly anticipated Alien Romulus. The film is said to follow a group of young people on a distant world who find themselves in a confrontation with the most terrifying life form in the universe. While this focus on young adult characters doesn't come as a huge surprise given the film's casting announcements, it's a stark departure from the original movie. Ridley Scott's film essentially focuses on truckers in space. Originally, ordinary working class people like Sigourney Weaver, Ellen Ripley, who are confronted with extreme circumstances. So while grafting a teens being stalked premise onto a space setting sounds entertaining, it also betrays some of the core traits that make the original 79 film an enduring classic. Okay, I don't think I need to read any more. I can comment on this, though. And I see the concern there, and I think they're right. But, a couple things. Fede Alvarez, I think, is perfect for the Alien franchise. He's a really great director. I love Don't Breathe. I love the Evil Dead remake. He's just got a nasty style of directing that could fare well for a xenomorph type setting. Now, as far as characters go, if you have what they're saying like teenage characters in space, I see the concern, but here's the thing. It all comes down to the writing. It all comes down to are those characters developed well, And I would like to think that Fede Alvarez would care about that type of stuff. I don't think he would just want, throwaway characters, one-dimensional, annoying characters. And I think like Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe has young characters in it, but I think those characters are pretty interesting and fleshed out. The three main protagonists, even though they're robbers, Jane Levy is fantastic in there. You want her to get out of there. You root for her. And then you got the other guy who's just a complete jerk off. And then you got the young kid who's naive and scared. And so they did the work in fleshing out those characters. And I think that's a big reason why Don't Breathe worked. So take, for example, if you had Jane Levy, she could pass for, young 20s, something like that. If you had a Jane Levy type actress in an Alien movie, that could work. That could work great. I think, and even Sigourney Weaver was pretty young when she did the first Alien, but I think the problem there is everybody around her, these were adults with adult problems. So I think that's the concern here is they don't want teenagers who are, thinking about their boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever. And that's the biggest of their issues outside of the xenomorph. They want them to have real problems. But really, if you think about the main cast in Alien, what is the main problems that they were really talking about outside of the threat? Getting paid. That was pretty much like complaining about. And you had some dissension in the ranks, about because Ripley ends up making a choice that Dallas should have made, and Dallas wasn't around, and so she had to make the choice. So, you have a little bit of that there, the rank structure and all that, but that's not anything that is. I don't want to say it's not important. The script is important. But these aren't the biggest problems in the world. So I think if these, and I don't even know if they're teenagers, okay? They could be 20-somethings, all right? I'm hoping and praying that this isn't like a bunch of teenagers wanting to hook up. That works great for a normal slasher like Jason movie. But for an Alien, you don't really want that bullshit, okay? You definitely want these to be young adults with adult problems, right? But really the main focus being the threat of the xenomorph, all right? So at this point, I'm not too concerned about that. I still think there's hope that this movie could be great. So Yeah, the story's not as crazy as I thought it was going to be, guys. All right. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you looking forward to Alien Romulus? I would think that there'd be more buzz about this movie because Alien is a big franchise, but it seems like everybody's kind of, they're so into like Terrifier, and which I love Terrifier, don't get me wrong, but maybe it's just Alien is more in the sci-fi realm, but I don't know. I just love that world, right? And a lot of people didn't for Prometheus and Covenant, and I happen to love those movies because the more world building that you can do in the Alien franchise, the better in my book. Okay? Chappie, he says, why can't we get a sequel to Alien Covenant? Finish that trilogy. I want to see the end of David's story because both movies are great. Easy answer. They didn't perform that well. Covenant was a very mixed reception type movie. A lot of people hated that movie. A lot of people loved it. I loved it. But bottom line, it just didn't make the money that they wanted it to make. I don't even think Prometheus really made that much. I think it was in the black. I think it was a success, but I think it was more a critical hit. Whereas I don't know what the Rotten Tomatoes rating is on Covenant. I'd imagine it's probably not that great. So yeah, I think that's the answer. I think if Covenant would have did gangbusters at the box office, then yeah, we'd get that third movie. Because I was even doing updates after Covenant came out that Ridley Scott was talking about the next movie. There was even a name for it, Alien something, and I can't remember. It's been so long. It's been years. And I think he was even talking about doing the next movie between Covenant and Prometheus, which makes it even more confusing. I don't know what Ridley Scott was thinking back then, if I'm being honest. He was a little off his rocker. Okay, he was so into this alien world, which I loved, and at least we got Prometheus and Covenant. I'll always have those in my collection, and I adore both those movies. I love that they stepped outside of the alien comfort zone, and told the story of the space jockey and tried some things different. Got a little bit philosophical, even crazy stuff. So yeah. I don't, guys. Is there any big news going on right now? Because I don't think there's anything crazy in the horror world. Everybody's getting ready for Christmas. I think after the new year, we're going to start seeing some new stories roll out. I'm in the middle of my top 10s, my end of year top 10s right now. That's what's been keeping me busy as hell. But I wanted to take a little bit of time to just spend with you guys tonight, in between it all. But this morning I recorded top 10 worst non-horror movies. I was editing that until I couldn't stand it anymore. And I said, I need to talk to my people. So I came to you guys to talk to you guys. So, yeah. Erica says, I've been following Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes news. I'm too excited for it. You know what, Erica? I am too. The trailer looks really good. It was a little confusing because it looked like it was Caesar. But Caesar died in the last movie. So... Is that Caesar's son? I don't know. When does Kingdom take place? I think my favorite one, I love Dawn and I love Rise. And War is good, but I think it's my least favorite of the three. But it's still good. It's still really good. But Kingdom looks like it's gonna be good. I remember when the Mark Wahlberg one came out back in 2001, and that was a pretty big hit too. I liked it. It was okay. Tim Burton did it. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Gory. I appreciate that. No, it's set 300 years after Caesar's death. Wow. Okay. Cool. I wonder what's the reasoning for making this movie outside of just, money, because, the previous trilogy did really well. I wonder if there's a big tie-in to the previous trilogy that obviously they're not putting out there. I got a feeling there's going to be kind of a nice surprise in that movie. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Polly says, I'm curious about Maxine and Terrifier. Oh my God. I want a Maxine trailer like you read about. I can't wait to see that trailer. I can't wait to see that movie. Oh, Maxine, I got to feel, because it's going to be a slasher set in the 80s, I think. It's going to be freaking amazing. It's going to be amazing. Ryan Swayze says, Lee, are you excited for the DCU? I'm excited for Superman Legacy because I'm such a Superman fan. And I'm excited because James Gunn's directing it. I mean, I love James Gunn. You know, most of his movies, he's a little left of center, and I mean that in a great way. His movies, like all the Guardians movies, are phenomenal, fantastic. So I'm really curious to see what he can do with a Superman movie. And he produced Brightburn. Don't forget that, guys. And Brightburn is pretty much like an evil Superman movie. So I'm really curious to see what he's going to do with that. I'd love a rated R Superman movie, if I'm being honest, but that would never happen. Because remember in Superman 3, Superman goes bad, right? And then he has a fight himself, like his evil self. And imagine if you had an evil Superman movie, and it was rated R. Yeah, I guess you have that with Homelander, right? Homelander's pretty much a Superman type character. Beth says she's excited for Maxine. Yeah, you know, and I like that we don't know much at all. We've seen like a couple images, you know, the one where she's kind of walking down the strip. But outside of that, we don't know much. We don't even know about, like, I think it's supposed to be a whodunit slasher, which is really exciting. And yeah, I wonder if this will be the this will wrap up the trilogy and they won't do anymore. I don't know. I'm hoping. I mean, what if we had like 3 more movies after this? Who knows? Okay, and I think God, what's her name? Shit, freaking drawing a blank. You know what I'm talking about, though. The main actress that does those movies. God, why am I drawing a blank? Jesus, love her to death. You guys will tell me in a sec. Damn it. It's driving me crazy. Mia Goth. Thank you very much, Austin. Mia Goth, yeah. She's probably one of the hottest young actresses working today. You know? Her career is just... I'm hoping we can contain her in the horror realm because she's going to get the right role and then she's going to just go... She's going to be doing nothing but like dramas and stuff. Unless she really loves horror. But I'm scared that that's what's going to happen because she's such a great actress that she's going to end up doing... you know, drama type movies, you know, which would be great. I'm sure those movies will be great, but man, it'll suck if she's not, you know, if she's not sticking with horror. Cactus Jack, man, Merry Christmas. Have a great night. Have a great night. Wes Blandford, never late. You arrive precisely when you mean to. Late to the party at work as usual. I don't know what topic we're on, Lee, but actually we're just bullshitting. We're playing grab ass right now. You should do a review on Pandorum. Oh my God. That's, it's like a sci-fi movie from the 90s, right? Yeah, Dennis Quaid, Ben Foster. Ben Foster. Now that's underrated. Okay, guys? See why we're bringing it around full circle? Ben Foster, that's an underrated actor. You know, why is he underrated? Because nobody ever talks about him, right? Yeah. But what's not underrated is Exorcist 3. Okay, it's officially rated now. All right, yeah. I think it's like it's cool to say you love Exorcist 3. I think that's what it is now. If I say Exorcist 3, I'm cool. I think that's what happened. Okay. I hope there'll be a Brightburn 2, Kyle. I would love a Brightburn 2. I love how that movie ended. Spoiler alert: he like freaking flies his mother through the roof of the barn. And like obliterates her. It's like, holy shit. That's the kind of stuff I want in my Superman Legacy movie. Lee, have you seen the Screambox Holiday Horror Anthology Night of the Missing? No, I haven't. I haven't heard of that. There's a lot I haven't seen. And I think I've seen a lot, you know? I mean, I've seen enough to do 2 best ofs and a worst. And even on the worst, I have a couple things that I liked. And I thought I saw a lot. But, I mean, there's people like Jason that's freaking seen 3 times what I've seen. It's insane. Ben Foster was amazing in 30 Days of Night, Gory. Very good. Very good. Have you seen the teaser trailer for It's Me, Billy Chapter 2, Chester? Yeah, I did a reaction on it, Chester. Really excited. And it's a good teaser because it doesn't really give much away at all. You know, you just get just a little tease. That's it. It's nice. Ryan, I have not seen Aquaman 2 yet. I really don't have much of a desire to see it. I will. I know I eventually will. It's like, I was thinking today, I was like, when that movie comes to Max, I'm all over it. But like, do I want to go out to the theater and see that? I didn't get a press invite to go see it. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we always go to a movie on Christmas Day. So Monday we're going to the movies, and we might end up seeing Aquaman. I don't know. We're going with my kids, and me and my wife. We're all going to the movies, and we have some choices. It's either Silent Night, or Aquaman, or Wonka. And really, none of those excite the hell out of me. But so I was like, you know what? I'll see what else. Whatever you guys want to see, I'll see it. Okay. Yeah. Exorcist III is good, but a recent rewatch made me realize it's not as good as I thought. Still, glad I own it in 4K. Yeah, I'm glad I own it too. And don't get me wrong, I love Exorcist III. I think it's great. I don't think it's as good as the first though. Chappie says, Lee, question: do you think it's a best idea to listen to fans and critics, especially with what happened to the DCEU? No, I don't. You know, and I think back in the 80s and 90s when we were making great movies, directors, they didn't really go on message boards and say, hey, what do you guys want? You know, there was no like immediate reaction to news, you know, like even before the movie came out. Now, if just an idea of something comes out from a director, he gets freaking both sides of it thrown right back at him. And so there, you can see how a creator would get influenced by that. And I think it's a horrible thing. You know, I think directors should stick to their vision. This is what I was saying about Zack Snyder's DCU. You know, Warner Brothers, they got scared and they wanted to copy the MCU. And then that's why we're in the state that we're at now. So, yeah, I don't think they should listen to fans. I think they should get good filmmakers to make films that they want to make. I think that's what should happen. Does that mean every movie's going to be great if they don't listen to fans? Hell no. You had shit movies in the 80s and 90s and 2000s just like you do today, okay? And you have great movies today just like you had back then. But I think a lot of great movies, like, do you think Ari Aster's actually listening to the audience when he makes his movies? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think he has an idea and then he executes it. That's it. So, yeah. Lee, I'm leaning towards A24 to give us the best Halloween. Hope it lands in their hands. Well, no, A24 didn't win. It went to Miramax. So I don't think A24 even has, unless Miramax licenses out a movie to A24. That's possible, but I don't think they're going to do that. So yeah, I think we're going to get it through Miramax. Okay, Trina, how are you doing? The studios also listened to the fans for Sonic the Hedgehog and it worked. That is the rare example where it was a good thing, because it was so bad that they had like the whole thing with Disney right now, you know, and how all their movies, they keep remaking these childhood classic animated movies, and they're doing live action versions of them, and almost all of them are falling on their face. And what do? They keep doubling down instead of actually listening to the fans. So this is another case where I'm not saying they should do exactly what the fans, this is the story you should tell, but I just think they don't have creative writers. That's what I think. I think the writing is just piss poor, you know? And listening to fans isn't going to fix it. You just need to get good writers, right? So that's it. Horton Coffee, what's up, brother? How you doing? Yeah. Jason says, Ridley listened to the fans before Covenant and it wasn't good. And Jason's right. And I like Covenant. I like it quite a bit. But it's one of those movies that I understand that some people don't like it. It did I think it tried to bridge that gap a little bit too much. But, you know, it was what I wanted. But what I want isn't always what should happen, right? So, yeah. Erica says, Disney's just going through its shit phase. They have them every couple of decades or so. Yeah, they're going through a rough period right now. You know, and honestly, I don't know what the answer is. You know, I mean, make good movies is the obvious thing, but man, it's tough right now. And plus, with Star Wars and Marvel, you know, the MCU's not going to reboot. You know, that they're just way too deep into the weeds right now. And I think sometimes you have to just cut your losses and reboot. But, you know, pride sets in, and sometimes that becomes a factor. And you see a lot of doubling down these days. You know, oh, yeah, you don't like this? Well, I'm going to do it again. And then they double down and they get another flop. That's the problem with the internet, guys. It really is. That's the problem with opinions. And that's why I bring up like the 80s and the 90s. You didn't have all that blowback, you know? And I think more times than not, like I think the audience's opinion can be a good thing sometimes. But if you go like out of every 10 times, I think maybe 1 or 2 out of every 10 movies is it going to actually work out in their favor, you know? I think more times than not, you should leave a filmmaker alone and let them carry out their vision. You know, that's why you get freaking James Cameron's Terminator 2. You know, there's so many, like Christopher Nolan, I believe he has full creative freedom for his movies. You know, the producers, they tell him, you know, you do whatever you want to do. And we're just going to sit back and collect checks, okay? And they believe in him. So, and that's why his movies turn out great. That's why Oppenheimer's probably the best movie of the year. You can tell that was something that wasn't meddled with, okay? So, yeah. Anyway, my voice is dying, guys, all right? But I wanted to come on here and hang out with you guys for at least a little bit. And thank you guys for stopping by. Again, right before this, I literally just started up memberships on the channel. There's 3 tiers that you can go on. I have the Bucky tier, the Laurie Strode tier, and the Michael Myers tier. Okay, so if you click on the join under any of my videos, you can look through there and you can see all that you get. Okay, so I'm new to the whole membership thing, but it looks fun. Right, and today I actually created some, what do you call them, some badges? The ones that you do the GIFs. See, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I created 4 GIFs. One of them is like an Art the Clown. One of them is a Michael Myers dancing. And I got a Freddy in there too. And then I got Regan with her head turning around. All right, and those are supposed to be like if you could click one of those if you're having a feeling. Right, like I think I have one of them for like if you want to dance, then you'd hit the Michael Myers one and you see Michael Myers dancing. So yeah, but check it out, guys. Anyway, I hope you guys have such a great Christmas with your families. I hope you guys get everything that your hearts desire, and spend time with your families. Make someone smile. You know, that's the biggest thing. Make someone's day. Right, give to people if you can. Grab one of those freaking present prize things on a tree when you go to your local grocery store or your Walmart or something like that, and give. Right, make somebody's day, make somebody happy. Okay, and love you guys to death. Take care of each other. Hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Take care, everyone.